Ciao, e benvenuti a Roma. I'm FMGreeno. This is episode 60 of the Greeno Tour, and the first as manager of our new club, our fifth club, AS Roma in Italy. Today we're going to take a little look around the club, meet some of the squad, and play our first couple of games. There's a lot to get through, so let's press on. So, let's start with a little bit of a look around the club and some of its history. So you can see here, it was founded in 1927, so in game time that makes it just over 100 years old. And there are a lot of good players in the history of the club here. You look at players like Gabriel Batistuta, Cafu, Aldoir was a great Brazilian player for Roma back in the day. I guess the biggest legend of all is over here, Francesco Totti. A one-club man, played around 20 years in the first team. Some player he was, that's for sure. If we take a look at the club's facilities, they're in really good shape. So we've got a big old stadium, 68,000 plus seater. We don't own it, it's owned by the council, and of course we share it with local rivals Lazio. Our facilities are good. Superb training facilities, superb youth facilities, excellent academy coaching, and exceptional youth recruitment. So I'm hoping we have the opportunity to bring some players through the ranks here. If we go and look at our current standings, we'll take a look at the season preview here. You can see we're expected to finish 7th according to the bookies. A little bit less fancied than these top 6 at 33-1. And then there's a bunch of clubs below us at 50-1. To be honest, I'm hopeful we ought to be able to pop into this top 4, 5, 6 position. Somewhere around about there is where I'm aiming this season. The Dream 11, no Roma players in there though. There are some good, strong players in this Italian league. If we scroll down a little bit here, though, we do see 2 of our players not too far down the list. Myron Boadu, our striker, and Maroš Kumbula, who is our Albanian centre-back. They're considered our 2 best players. Why don't we go and meet the rest of the squad? We do have our first league game of the season today against Sassuolo. So I've set up a team based on the best 11 I have available right now. There are a couple of players, such as Paul Lirola, who would be a good candidate to be first choice right back in our team, and Miguel Nobrega, who could play in that holding midfield role. Both of those are unavailable for selection today. So, let's take a look at who we do have. Our first choice goalkeeper, Gregor Kobel, a Swiss international. He's okay. I'm not blown away by him. He's someone that probably will be our first choice goalkeeper this season, but maybe someone that we're going to look to upgrade over the next 12 months or so. Left back, we have Domagoj Bradaric, a Croatian international, 50 plus caps for his country. A good left back option. I like to play with wing backs, and he suits that role pretty well. So he's probably going to be our first choice for most of this season. Right back, like I say, Paul Lirola is a good candidate. He's a better wing back than this guy, I think. Armini prefers to play centre-half, but I'm not sure I really fancy him there with some of these technicals. Can play full-back, but more a full-back than a wing-back. And you can see here, like crossing of 6, for example, just isn't going to work. I also think his barber needs to be sacked. Look at this haircut. Dear, oh dear. Centre-backs, Kumbula, who we just mentioned is probably one of our 2 best players. I really like this guy. His physicals are good, his mentals are superb, and he has very, very good technicals where he needs them. He's definitely our starting centre-half. Cristante is going to play alongside him today. I'm not convinced by him, but I think as a ball-playing centre-half, he has all the right attributes in the right places. He's 33 years old, though, so definitely not one for the future. Onyeka in midfield. Would prefer to play in central midfield, but I'm going to play him in this deep-line playmaker role today. Again, 30 years of age, so not one for the future, but I think he's got a good 12 months, 24 months in him as a regular starter for us. Probably more up in this position once I can get someone else to come in and play defensive midfielder. But I quite like the look of him. Gilberto Amado is a 23-year-old Brazilian, uncapped by his national team. Again, not great. I like his physical attributes. His mentals are okay. His technicals are okay. I mean, he's definitely good enough to play some games, but I wouldn't really class him as a first-choice starter. The same here goes for Matteo Cipolla, a young Italian. Still some potential in him, 4-star potential ability, and he has got some good attributes here. His physicals are good, his mentals are good, his technicals do let him down a little bit. But there's some time to sort that out a little bit, I think. The front three is where I think we're at our strongest. On the left-hand side here, Madsen Mesquita plays an inverted winger, which I like, seeing as we play with wing-backs. And look at this, dribbling of 18, technique of 16, really, really fast, lots of agility, good teamwork. I like this guy. I think he's got the potential to be an absolute star. He's only 20 years of age, so there's development left in him too. On the right-hand side, Francisco Trincao. We all know about him. Bit of a wonder kid in FM20. Again, his technicals are really good. His mentals are really good. His physicals are really good. He's really good. I really like this guy. And up front, pace, acceleration, decent finishing, a good first touch, nice balance. Definitely our starting striker this season. So, in amongst the people on the bench, that's where we're starting to lose a little bit of quality. We don't have a great backup goalkeeper. Svilar is at the best of a fairly average bunch. Only 2.5-star ability, so hopefully we don't have to lean on him too much. Davide Calabria, he's not bad. Again, a decent right back, can play wing back. 31 years of age though, once again, not one for the future. Valukovic, centre half. This guy's not bad, and I think he will be rotating in and out of the side all season. I think he's going to get plenty of match time for us. Kaseke is just a youngster, filling a bench slot, to be honest with you. Again, we don't have a lot of cover in this defensive midfield position, so we need someone on the bench who can play there. Nuno Santos, I think this guy's not bad. He can play anywhere in midfield and can play up front. I don't think he has the attributes to be a starting player for us, but as a bench option who can play pretty much anywhere, he's going to be very, very useful. Andre Anderson. I quite like him. I'm not 100% convinced. He has some good attributes. Again, can play in a variety of roles. I just don't see him starting for us. He'll get some game time, I guess. Maybe conference, the Europa Conference League. We might start him in some of those games, the Italian Cup. But I don't see him as a starter in the league, really. Andrea Adelfio. Again, he's a promising youngster, this kid. Plays off the left-hand side as an inside forward or inverted winger, so that suits me. And for a youngster, he's only 22, still some room to grow, and decent attributes. I like his physicals. He's got that good pace and acceleration, which is very important for his role. Good first touch, good dribbling. Yeah, he's going to get some game time too this season. Condemi plays on the other side. Similar kind of situation. I'm not sure he's quite as good at this stage, but he has got a lot of potential here. Possibly up to 4.5-star potential. He'll be in and out of the side. He'll be on the bench most of the time, I'd guess. And Mariani is our backup striker. Not anywhere near in the class of Boadu, unfortunately. He's only a youngster, though. Again, decent acceleration. There's lots of room for him to grow. We'll see how he gets on this year. So that's pretty much everyone that you need to meet at this stage, I think. There's a lot of youngsters in the squad. We only have an under-20 team. We don't have a B team or a reserve team. So everyone else is hanging around in the squad. I'm trying to loan people out to get them some game time this season. But like I say, today we have our first league game. We're playing Sassuolo. Let's go and see how we get on. So there's our setup as we've been through. I'm fairly happy with the team. I think we lack a little bit of strength in depth, which I'm trying to address. We have got a transfer budget of about £68 million and around 400,000 in the wage budget left. Because we only finished 7th in the league last season, and we're only slated to finish 7th this time round, Europa Conference League football is proving a little more difficult than it was at Cologne, for example, to bring players in. So, a bit of a challenge with about 10 days of the transfer window still to go. You've got to try and improve things a little bit. I'd like another centre-half, maybe, and certainly a holding midfielder. Possibly a better backup striker if we can get one. But we'll have to wait and see what's available. I don't want to just rush in and buy people for the sake of it. If we don't get the right players, we don't buy them this time round. So a fairly nondescript start to the game. Mesquita picked up a yellow card in the 2nd minute. Good lord. I think we'll give them a little shout, encourage the boys. I'm not sure how much they're going to start listening to me yet. It takes a little while for you to bed into the club and for the players to start paying attention. One thing I do have to be a bit mindful of is the atmosphere in the club. Now, the 2 best players that we've already mentioned, Boadu and the Albanian centre-half, what's his name, Kumbula, both have made noises about wanting to leave the club. They're not sure that we're going to be able to match their ambitions for Champions League football over the next 12 months. So I've managed to appease them for now. Whether they're going to be happy if we don't qualify for the Champions League this season, that's another matter. Obviously, that means finishing in the top 4, which isn't going to be easy. But we'll give it a go. Oh, goodness me. See that ball pinballing around in the box there. And we've had 5 shots, but none on target, apparently. I can't believe none of those were on target. That seems ridiculous to me. Now, one thing you might notice here, our assistant manager was already at the club. Oh, there's our first goal. Before I talk about the assistant manager, Amado, fighting for his place in the team. He knows we've been talking about midfield replacements. Great ball in from Trincao there. Do you see the whip on that free kick? And Amado gets up and nods it home. And just before half-time, we take the lead. That is good news. Anyway, as I was saying, our assistant manager, interestingly enough, was already at the club. Cristiano Ronaldo. So we're going to keep him. I don't think he's the best actual assistant manager available. But we're going to hang on to him. It's a bit of a coup to have him at the club, I guess. Right, so not too much to say to the boys. Let's get them out for the second half. To be honest, I'll be quite happy with a streaky 1-0 win. Get 3 points on the board early, get the team moving in the right direction. Obviously, there's a lot of strong teams in this league. The likes of Juventus, Milan, Inter. There's going to be a lot of big challenges in the season ahead. But, you know, we're up for that. Fairly used to that when we were at Cologne. We were up against Bayern Munich and Dortmund and the like. So, right. I think it's time to make a couple of changes. Some tired legs starting to kick in. I'll be back in a moment. Just a couple of changes in personnel. We've brought on Andre Anderson and Nuno Santos for Cipolla and Mesquita. So, just getting some fresh legs out there. I don't think we really need to change anything in the team as such. And Yeka is also struggling for fitness by the looks of it. So we might try and give him a little bit of a rest. We need him for a game that's coming up in the week. Lukovic, the centre-half, can play there, can he? Okay, well, we'll do that then. And hopefully just play out the last few minutes without too much incident. Kumbula here on the ball. Don't do anything daft. Down to Armini. There's Velukovic. To Boadu. Has he beaten the line there? No, he's offside. But that's what we're looking for from him. That kind of run. Unfortunately, he just mistimed it slightly this time round. Just strayed a little bit offside. But, yeah, we're looking for that pace, acceleration, and finishing from him. So just heading towards injury time. He could do without conceding here. Oh, goodness me, they hit the post. Right, let's get some time wasting on quickly. That's what we need. And a little bit of encouragement to the boys just to see this game out. There we are. Not the most impressive performance. Hopefully we'll see all season. But it's 3 points on the board. So I thought, as it's the first episode with the new club, we'd have 2 live comms in this first episode. We've had to make a couple of changes to the team. Our goalkeeper, Gregor Kobel, unfortunately is injured for 4 to 6 weeks. He broke his collarbone in training. That's the one area we don't have a lot of strength in depth. So Svila is going to come in and play in goal today. We're trying to get in a new goalkeeper pretty urgently to cover for the next month or so. We also have a couple of other little knocks. Amado, who played in the last game, has picked up a knock. He's unavailable. So we've made a few little changes to the team. Velukovic is going to come in and play at centre-half. Cristante takes the day off. Nobrega is fit enough to come in and play in that holding midfield role, which means we can move Onyeka up, and that covers for the absence of Amado. Andre Anderson is going to come in and play today. The front three remain the same, and we are playing against MTK here in the Europa Conference League qualifier. So, let's get into the game and see how we get on. So here we are, back at the Olympic Stadium in Rome against MTK of Budapest. You'll notice up in the top left-hand corner there, we are already 3-0 up after the first leg. So hopefully more of the same today. I say we've had to bring in a few new players. Mosquito, I notice, has picked up a knock here, so we're probably going to replace him. We have got an international break coming up soon, so it's not too much of a problem if we pick up a couple of knocks in today's game, because there's a couple of weeks before the next game. I'm hoping we get a decent performance out of the side here today. I say MTK, not the strongest opposition, if I'm honest. So I'd like to see us certainly offer a bit more of an attacking threat. Good ball in there. There's Boadu, and there's our first goal of the game. Boadu with a header. Not necessarily what I'm having him in the team for, but I will take it. And we are going to have to make that change, I think. Mosquito will be coming off, but he did quite well here, didn't he, in spite of his injury. Dug out a nice ball. Boadu having to run backwards to get on it. So did well to get enough sort of strength in his neck to power the ball forwards. So, Mosquito is coming out, and Adelphio will come on that left-hand side. 20 minutes on the clock. We have had all of the games so far. MTK yet to register an opportunity on goal. So I'm kind of interested in what you guys think about the move that I've made here. It kind of feels a little bit like a sideways move, if I'm honest. Good opportunity there for MTK. I think that Roma and Cologne are pretty much on a similar kind of standing in the game. But I just wanted to manage Rome, really. It's good to come into the Italian league. It still gives me that route back to a bigger club in another league if the opportunity comes up in a couple of seasons' time. Maybe we'll have enough reputation then to be considered for one of the really big jobs in England, or for Bayern maybe even. There's Boadu with a second. That's more like what we're looking for from him, that kind of sharp acceleration and movement around the penalty area. Obviously, he'll have to be doing it against stronger opponents than these Hungarian lads. But that was a nice ball from Adelphio into space to find him. And yeah, he just darted away from his defender and tucked it home. So that's 2-0 on the night, 5-0 on aggregate. After this game, I think it's only on the next day we actually get the Conference League group stage draw. So we'll bring you that too. This really is going to be a bumper episode, isn't it? It looks like we're going to go in at half-time with a 2-goal advantage, which I'm pretty happy with. Yeah, we're into stoppage time now. And there it is, 2-0 at half-time. So I think we're probably just going to tell people that we're happy with the way things are going. That seems to have done the trick. Everyone's in a good mood. Out for more in the second half. Little bit of condition from the likes of Onyeka and Trincao we need to keep an eye on. Trincao is not having a great game either. He's on a 6.5, which is disappointing for a player of his quality. Maybe he'll be one of the ones to come out in a few minutes. Onyeka definitely will be, because he is blowing a bit. Not much happening at this point though in the second half, so let me go and make a couple of those changes. Back in a moment. So it is just a couple of personnel changes. Nuno Santos comes on the right-hand side, showing his versatility again. Comes in for Trincao. And a youngster, Guausti, comes in midfield. Not much happening here, though, is there? I was hoping we'd actually smash a few goals in here and entertain you a bit more. But I guess we'll be happy with a 2-0 win, getting through without conceding a goal, scoring 5 in the tie, dominating the match. It's not a disaster overall, is it? Let's be honest. There's an opportunity here, though, for MTK. No, we get in and pinch the ball, do we? No, we don't. We've given it back again. Good save there by Svilar. And there we are. It's full time. We have won 2-0 on the night and 5-0 on aggregate. Well, after that victory, we are here for the group stage draw. We are one of the top seeds, as you'd probably expect in this level of competition. Valencia are probably the biggest other team in the draw with us. As you look down through the list, Eintracht Frankfurt are probably a good team, but they're only third seeds in the draw, which is a bit of a surprise. And then, yeah, you're getting really into smaller teams here with St. Mirren and teams from Bosnia and the like. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting draw anyway. So let's see who we get. What group are we in? We're in Group B. Okay, so that's all the top seed teams drawn out. So who's going to be the first team that drops into our group from the second seeds? Fehervar from Hungary. Interesting. So we have a nice little trip to Székesfehérvár there. Then the next team that's coming in, Jablonec of the Czech Republic. So again, two teams here that we really ought to be putting away relatively easily, I would think. Good we managed to avoid Eintracht Frankfurt in that part of the draw. They're up against Valencia. That's a bit of a big game in this competition. And the last team that we end up with, St. Mirren, a trip to Scotland. We didn't do too well in our last trip to Scotland when we were at Cologne, losing to Aberdeen in the Europa League. But hopefully a trip to St. Mirren won't prove us too many problems. So the fixtures from that draw have been put into the schedule now. We have St. Mirren at home first up. We're not going to come back for that, though. That's only in a couple of weeks. I think the next game we need to come back for is the home game against Lazio, the first eternal derby. That's going to be an absolute belter, I think, isn't it? Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. We've covered quite a bit, haven't we? Having a bit of a look around the club, meeting the squad, first couple of games under our belt. I think we're doing okay without setting the world on fire so far, but it takes a while to bed in. We need to shape this squad into the form that we want it to be in. Hopefully we'll have a couple more transfers to show you in the next episode with that aim in mind. If you have enjoyed it, please drop a like on there for me. Helps me get seen by more people, of course. And if you've got any comments about this episode, the series as a whole so far, the move I've made, or anything else, please drop them into the comments section below. And of course, if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, come and hop on the Greenobus. There is plenty of room for you all. Just remains for me to thank you for watching, and I will see you soon for some more action here with Roma. Bye for now.